The snow howled like 1,000 dying wolves that night. Wind slashed across the monster beast forest. Ice knives cut through the air. Deep in the white hell, a black carriage rattled to a stop. The crest of the Valtor family gleamed coldly on its door. Gold threads on crimson cloth. A symbol of pride, a symbol of power. Inside the carriage, a newborn cried weakly, his tiny fists clenched against the freezing air. The man holding him wore heavy fur robes. His face was stone. Lord Valtor, head of one of the Empire's ancient noble houses. His wife sat beside him, pale, silent, eyes fixed on the bundle in his arms. He has no mana. Lord Valtor's voice cut sharper than the blizzard outside. Not even a spark. The bloodline test showed nothing. The woman flinched but said nothing. She already knew what came next. In our house, weakness is death. He opened the carriage door. Snow exploded inward. The forest will finish what nature started. He stepped out, boots crunched into deep snow. The driver waited ahead, face hidden under a hood. He did not look back. Lord Valtor walked 10 paces into the darkness. Trees loomed like frozen giants. Their branches clawed at the sky. He knelt, placed the infant on the ground. The baby's cries grew louder, desperate. The cold bit instantly, skin turning blue. The Lord stood, looked down once. No regret in his eyes, only disgust. "You are no son of mine." His words vanished into the wind. He turned and walked away. The carriage door slammed, wheels rolled, the sound faded. Silence swallowed everything except the baby's weakening wail. Hours passed, maybe days. Time lost meaning in the endless white. The child should have died. Any normal human would have frozen solid. But fate is rarely kind, and sometimes it is crueler than death. A low growl rumbled through the storm, deep, ancient. The snow trembled. Yellow eyes appeared between the trees, massive, glowing like twin moons. The shadow leopard stepped forward, larger than any horse, fur black as midnight, stripes of silver running through it like veins of starlight, claws longer than daggers, fangs that could crush bone to powder. This was no ordinary beast. This was the sovereign of the forest's darkness, the apex predator that even high-rank monsters feared. Kings bowed when it passed. Armies of demon wolves scattered at its roar. It lowered its massive head, sniffed the tiny human left in the snow. The baby had stopped crying, breath shallow, life fading. The leopard's eyes narrowed. Something stirred inside the ancient creature. Not pity. Something deeper. Recognition. This child smelled of blood. Pure, untamed blood. No mana. But something wilder. The great beast opened its jaws. Warm breath rolled over the infant. Then gently, impossibly gently, it picked the child up by the scruff of his swaddling cloth, turned and vanished into the storm, leaving only massive paw prints that the wind quickly erased. Years passed, like blood in the snow. The child grew. They called him Kain. He did not walk on 2 legs at first. He ran on 4, learned to hunt before he learned to speak. The shadow leopard became his mother, his pack, his everything. She taught him the language of fangs and claws, how to move without sound, how to become the darkness itself, how to kill quickly, how to kill slowly, how to drink hot blood straight from the throat and feel strength flood your veins. Kain grew tall and lean, body carved from endless hunts, skin marked with scars that told stories of survival, hair black as his mother's fur, eyes that shifted from storm gray to burning red when hunger or rage took hold. He wore beast hides stitched with sinew, claws extended from his fingertips, retractable like a cat's, fangs slightly longer than human. He spoke little. When he did, his voice carried the low growl of the forest. The other beasts accepted him, feared him, respected him. He was the cub of the sovereign, the prince of shadows. But the forest was never safe. Borders shifted. Stronger packs tested the edges. One night, the demon wolves came. They poured from the northern ridges, hundreds, eyes glowing green with demonic hunger. Their alpha was massive, twisted horns, fur matted with old blood. It challenged the shadow leopard's rule. The battle lasted until dawn. Trees snapped like twigs. Blood painted the snow red and black. Roars shook the mountains. Kain fought beside his mother for the first time as an equal. He moved like wind through smoke, claws raking throats, fangs crushing windpipes. He drank as he killed, warm life pouring down his throat, strength surging with every heartbeat swallowed. The alpha charged him, jaws wide enough to bite a horse in half. Kain did not dodge. He leapt straight into its maw, claws digging into eyes, fangs sinking into tongue. The wolf screamed, thrashed. Kain twisted deeper. Hot blood sprayed across his face. He laughed. Wild. Free. When the alpha fell, the pack broke. Survivors fled howling into the night. Kain stood over the corpse, chest heaving, Covered in gore, his mother watched from the shadows, pride in her golden eyes. Then it happened. A burning sensation exploded in his chest, like fire poured straight into his veins. Words appeared in his mind, not heard. Seen, glowing crimson letters floating in darkness. Predator's path system awakened. Host has claimed first kill of superior demon beast. Essence absorption initiated. Kain staggered, fell to his knees in the bloody snow. Power rushed into him, not mana, something darker, hungrier. The wolf's strength flowed through his muscles. Its speed sharpened his reflexes. Its vitality burned away old scars. He looked at his hands, claws longer now, blacker, veins pulsing with stolen life. A voice echoed in his skull, cold, ancient, amused. Welcome, Predator. You walk the forbidden path, devour the strong, grow without limit, no bloodline needed, only hunger. Kain's lips pulled back in a feral grin. Fangs glinted in moonlight. For the first time, he remembered. Flashes came sudden and sharp. A warm carriage, cold hands placing him in snow, a man's voice saying, "You are no son of mine." The Valtor crest burned in his memory like a brand. His mother approached, nuzzled his shoulder, concern in her eyes. Kain placed a blood-soaked hand on her massive head. "I have a family to visit, mother." His voice was calm, too calm. "They left me to die. They owe me blood." The shadow leopard rumbled deep in her chest. Understanding, approval. Kain stood, looked toward the edge of the forest, where the trees thinned and human lands began. Cities of stone, nobles in their towers, the Valtor family waiting in their warm halls, safe behind walls and guards and mana barriers. He took one step forward, then another. Snow crunched under bare feet that felt no cold. Behind him, the Sovereign of Darkness watched her cub leave the shadows. Ahead, the world waited, full of prey that thought itself predator. Kain's eyes burned red in the night, killing lust rising like tide. "They wanted me devoured by beasts." His whisper carried on the wind. "Now I am the beast." He smiled, sharp, hungry, beautiful in its terror. "And I am coming home." The forest trembled as the wild demon stepped beyond its borders for the first time. The blizzard that birthed him long gone, but another storm was coming. One made of blood and vengeance. The Valtor family would learn what happens when you abandon a monster in the dark. You don't get rid of it. You create it. And one day it comes back. With teeth, the gates of Elysium Magic Academy rose like ivory spears against a perfect blue sky, towers of white marble etched with glowing runes, banners of every noble house snapping in the wind. Students in pristine uniforms strolled the grounds. Mana crackled in the air like static before lightning. Fire danced on fingertips. Wind curled around laughter. Ice crystals floated beside bored heirs practicing spells between classes. This was the heart of human power, the place where bloodlines turned into legends, where sacred mana cores decided if you ruled or served. Kain stood at the edge of the crowd, hood pulled low, fake admission papers clenched in one scarred hand. The forged name read, Kain Voss, commoner origin, no family crest. No mana signature detected during entry scans. The proctors barely glanced at him, just another hopeful trash fish swimming into the shark tank. He inhaled deep. The scent hit him like a drug. Rich mana, young blood pumping with potential, arrogant heartbeats loud in his ears. His claws twitched under the sleeves, fangs pressed against his lip. The predator system hummed quietly in his chest. Patient. Hungry. Asterisk. Smells like prey wearing crowns. Asterisk. He stepped through the gates. First week passed in silence. Kain kept his head down, slept in the cheapest dorm, ate alone, watched. The nobles flaunted everything. Third-year fire prodigy Ignis Valtor, distant cousin to his blood family, walked corridors trailed by flames that spelled his name in the air. Water Princess Leora summoned tidal waves in the courtyard just to cool her friends on hot afternoons. Wind airs raced across rooftops on gusts they commanded like pets. All of them born with glowing monocores. All of them taught from birth that bloodline was destiny. Kain had none of that. Zero mana. The academy scanners confirmed it daily. Whispers followed him. Useless, coreless trash. How did he even pass the entrance trial? Must have bribed someone. Pathetic. He smiled at the insults. Small, sharp, let them talk. At night, the real academy woke up. Underground arenas hidden beneath the library catacombs. No rules, no teachers, just blood and bets. Nobles came masked. Commoners came desperate. Everyone came to prove something. Kain's first fight lasted 7 seconds. His opponent was a second-year earth mage, built like a bull, manicore pulsing brown. He laughed when he saw the hooded newcomer with no aura. This will be quick. The bell rang. The mage slammed his foot. Stone spikes erupted from the ground, aimed to impale. Kain moved, not fast, predator fast, body low, shoulders rolling like a leopard through tall grass. He slipped inside the spikes, claws flashed once, throat opened. Blood sprayed hot across his face. The mage gurgled, dropped. Silence hit the arena. Then the system voice purred in Kain's skull. Essence absorption complete. Earth spike skill fragment acquired. Strength +9, vitality +12. He licked blood from his claws, eyes glowing faint red under the hood. Crowd erupted, some in horror, most in excitement. Money changed hands fast. Word spread like wildfire. A monster was hunting in the dark fights. Bodies piled up, second years, third years, even a fourth-year lightning genius who bragged he could kill with a glance. Kain broke his arms first, then his pride, then his neck. Each kill fed the system, skills stacked. Earth spikes grew from his palms now. Lightning crackled along his claws when he flexed. Fire resistance burned in his veins. He devoured pieces of their power and made it savage. Students started disappearing from classes, found later in alleys, drained, throats torn, eyes wide with final terror. Nightmares swept the academy, whispers of a demon, a beast wearing human skin. In the student council chamber high in the central tower, President Seraphine watched everything. Silver hair like moonlight, eyes ice blue and unreadable, uniform perfect, mana so dense the air around her shimmered, sacred ice bloodline, top rank in the entire empire, untouchable. Reports covered her desk, photos of mutilated bodies, witness accounts of red eyes in the dark. He has no mana signature, her voice was soft, cold, yet he kills mages like insects. Her vice president shifted nervously. Should we inform the dean? Seraphine stared at a grainy underground fight image. The hooded figure mid-leap, claws extended, something primal in the posture. No, she traced a finger over the photo. I will handle this anomaly myself. Surveillance began that night. Invisible ice familiars trailing Kain's every step, recording, analyzing. He felt them, smelled the frost on the wind, smiled wider. Asterisk, let her watch. The show hasn't started yet. Asterisk. The annual inter-year tournament arrived like a storm. Public, broadcasted across the empire. Nobles packed the Colosseum stands. Floating crystals projected every moment onto massive screens. Kain entered under his fake name, lowest seed, laughed at by everyone. Early rounds were boring. Opponents surrendered the second they saw his eyes. Then came the quarterfinals. His opponent, Cassian Aurelius, top genius of the third years, golden manicore, dual element wind and light, undefeated, arrogant smile permanent on his pretty face. Crowd chanted his name. Cassian floated down to the arena on wings of light, sword of pure wind in hand. Coreless trash. His voice carried over the roar. Kneel now and I'll make it quick. Kain stepped forward, hood thrown back for the first time in public, black hair wild, scars visible, eyes burning crimson. Cassian faltered half a second. Something primal stared back at him. The referee's bell rang. Cassian attacked instantly. Windblades 100 strong screamed across the arena. Light spears rained from above. Enough power to level buildings. Kain didn't dodge. He walked straight through. Blades cut his skin, blood flowed, wounds closed almost as fast, predator regeneration fueled by dozens of devoured essences. He reached Cassian in 3 steps. The genius panicked, wings flared, tried to rise. Kain jumped, higher than physics allowed, hand closed around Cassian's ankle, slammed him into the ground hard enough to crack stone. Crowd went dead silent. Cassian coughed blood, tried to summon more mana. Kain knelt, claws resting lightly on his throat. You nobles love talking about bloodlines. His voice low, but the crystals caught every word. Broadcast empire-wide. Let me show you what real blood looks like. Claws sank in. Not deep. Just enough. Cassian screamed. Kain leaned close. Whispered so only he heard. Tell Ignis Valtor his abandoned brother says hello. Then he stood. Let the genius live. Barely. Referee declared victory by submission. Stands exploded, some in rage, most in awe. Seraphine watched from the presidential box, fingers tight on the railing, ice spreading across metal under her grip. Asterisk, he just exposed stolen skills, earth, lightning, regeneration beyond any known class. And he mentioned Valtor, asterisk. Her eyes narrowed. Asterisk, the anomaly has a name. And a purpose. Asterisk. Kain stood in the arena center, blood dripping from his claws, chest heaving, memories crashed over him sudden and brutal. running through snow with his leopard mother, her warm fur against the endless cold, the pack howling under full moons, teaching him to kill clean, to never waste blood, to protect family with everything. Then the other memory, colder, a man's voice in the blizzard. "You are no son of mine." Hatred boiled up so hot his vision went red. He looked straight into the broadcast crystals, smile feral. "I'm just getting started." The Colosseum trembled with cheers and screams. Far away in Valtor estate, Lord Valtor watched the feed, face pale, hand shaking on his wine glass. Because those eyes, those crimson eyes. He remembered a baby left in snow. Kain turned and walked out of the arena, back into shadows that felt like home. Behind him, the academy burned with fear and fascination. The monster had arrived, and vengeance was only beginning. Seraphine stepped from her box, silver hair flowing like a battle flag. She spoke to the wind, voice carrying to her hidden familiars. "Prepare the web tighter. The predator thinks he's hunting us." A pause, small, cruel smile. But predators can become prey. The tournament continued. Blood stained the sand. And deep inside Kain's chest, the system laughed. Host has revealed presence, fear levels rising, essence opportunities increasing. He flexed claws, tasted Cassian's terror still on the air. Asterisk, let them fear. Asterisk. Asterisk, let them prepare. Asterisk. Asterisk. When I come for the Valtor name, there will be no arena, no rules, no mercy. Asterisk. The abandoned cub had grown teeth, and the academy was only the first bite. The continent buzzed with the name Kain Voss, whispers in taverns, screams in noble halls. Broadcast crystals replayed the tournament slaughter on loop, a coreless beast crushing sacred bloodlines like dry leaves. They called him the red-eyed demon, the academy monster. Some said he was a forbidden experiment, escaped from imperial labs. Others swore he sold his soul to ancient devils. In the Valtor estate, panic hit like lightning. Lord Valtor stood before the family council, face ashen, hands trembling around a crystal projection of the arena footage. Kain's scarred torso zoomed in, clear as day. The faint birthmark on his shoulder blade, the cursed crest every Valtor child carried, a black leopard entwined with thorns, hidden under glamour charms from birth, impossible to fake. "That's him," his voice cracked, "the one we left in the forest." Silence choked the room. Elders exchanged horrified glances. Wives clutched children closer. "He survived," one uncle whispered. "And he knows." Lord Valtor's fist slammed the table. "He will come for us. For all of us." Decision came fast. No trials, no questions. Erase the stain before it spread. They summoned the Black Thorn, elite assassins trained in shadow arts, monocores specialized in silence and death, each worth 10 battlefield nights, led by Captain Vesper, a man who killed dukes in their sleep and left no trace. Orders were simple: find the monster, end him, burn the body, scatter the ashes. Hunters deployed at dusk, 20 shadows melting into the night. Destination: the border forests where sightings placed Kain last. They never saw him coming. First kill happened before moonrise. A scout vanished from perimeter watch. No scream, no blood trail, just empty air where he stood. Second and third went together. Patrol pair checking tracks. Found later hanging from trees. Throats opened ear to ear, eyes plucked clean. Panic crept in slow. Vesper tightened formation. Activated detection wards. Mana barriers hummed around the squad. Kain watched from darkness. He crouched high in ancient branches, body blended with shadows, new skill pulsing through veins. Shadow stalk acquired, presence erased, movement silent as falling leaves. Devoured from the first assassin, a shadow mage who thought he was invisible. Now Kain wore his talent like second skin. Asterisk, they hunt me like prey. Asterisk, his lips pulled back in silent snarl. Asterisk, big mistake. Asterisk. He dropped. Landed behind the rear guard. Claws flashed twice. 2 bodies hit dirt before sound reached the others. Squad spun, spells lit the night, fireballs, ice lances, wind blades carving trees to splinters. Kain was already gone, melted back into shadow. One assassin activated essence sight, mana goggles glowing, searching for any trace. He found red eyes staring back from inches away. Claws punched through armor, ribs, heart. System voice purred, warm approval. Essence absorption complete. Skill: Essence mimicry unlocked. Host may now temporarily replicate devoured abilities at amplified potency. Kain flexed fingers. The dead assassin's lightning affinity crackled along his claws, blue-white arcs dancing hungry. He laughed low, first sound he made all night. Squad heard it, froze. Vesper barked orders. Circle formation, barriers up. Kain stepped into the light. No hood now, scars bared, blood painting his skin like war paint, eyes burning crimson. 20 assassins, elite of elites, faced one man with no mana. They attacked as one. Perfect coordination, poison mist, binding chains of darkness, illusion clones, blades coated in anti-regeneration curse. Kain moved through it like wind through smoke. Shadow Stalk carried him behind lines. Essence Mimicry let him wear their own skills against them. Lightning chains wrapped their caster. Poison mist inhaled by the one who released it. Illusions turned real claws on their masters. Screams filled the forest. Bodies dropped one by one. Vesper fought last. Dual swords dripping void essence. Cuts that erased matter itself. He charged roaring, "For House Valtor!" Kain met him head-on, bare hands against cursed blades. First strike severed 3 fingers. Kain didn't flinch. Wounds sealed instantly. Regeneration evolved beyond limits. Second strike aimed for throat. Kain caught the blade. Skin smoked. Blood hissed. Grip held. Vesper's eyes widened. Kain leaned in close. "You were sent by my father." Voice calm, deadly soft. "Tell him the cub he abandoned grew claws." He twisted. Blade snapped. Claws punched through armor, lifted Vesper off ground. Captain gasped blood. Mercy. Kain smiled sharp. Monsters don't know that word. But he didn't kill. Not yet. Betrayal hit harder than any blade. From the trees, a familiar voice called out. "Kain, behind you!" Ren, the one ally Kain trusted, a runaway noble who joined underground fights, fought beside him, shared meals, laughed at noble arrogance together. Ren stepped into clearing, hands raised, smiling apologetic. "Sorry, man. They offered too much. Title, land, clean name, you understand, right?" Behind him, remaining assassins regrouped, fresh reinforcements, ambush within ambush. Kain's eyes narrowed. Heart went cold. Asterisk. Even here. Betrayal. Asterisk. Ren kept talking, nervous now. "Come quiet. They'll make it painless. You're strong, but..." Kain dropped Vesper. Captain hit ground, gasping. He turned fully to Ren. "You sold me for a title." Voice flat. "After everything." Ren shrugged, tried bravado. "Survival, bro, you get it." Kain's rage went quiet, deadly quiet. System burned hot in his chest. Host experiences betrayal, rage threshold breached, evolution triggered. Predator rank advancing, apex hunter achieved. Power exploded outward, trees bent, ground cracked, pressure crushed lesser assassins to knees. Kain's silhouette shifted, taller, shoulders broader, claws lengthened black as midnight, eyes pure molten red. He moved. Not fast. Instant. Ren's head left his shoulders before sound caught up. Reinforcements fired everything. Grand spells. Forbidden arts bought with Valtor gold. Kain walked through explosions. Fire parted. Ice shattered on skin. Void blades dulled against new hide. One by one they fell. Screams turned to pleas. Pleas turned to silence. When dawn painted the forest red, only 2 figures remained. Vesper on his knees, armor shredded, life fading. Kain standing over him, barely scratched. He knelt, grabbed Vesper's hair, forced eye contact. "Listen close. Voice ice now, no rage, just promise. Tell Lord Valtor his monster is coming home. Tell him to gather every assassin, every guard, every sacred bloodline he trusts." Kain carved something into Vesper's chest with one claw, slow, deep. The Valtor crest, twisted, bleeding. "When I reach his gates, this mark will be the last thing he sees before I tear his heart out." He released. Vesper crawled away through blood and bodies, left a trail like broken doll. Kain watched until he vanished. Then he looked at his hands. Claws dripping, veins pulsing with new supreme power. Asterisk, apex hunter. Asterisk. No limits now. Devour without restraint. Mimic without decay. Stalk without trace. Memories surfaced, gentle this time. His leopard mother cleaning blood from his fur after first hunt, pack circling close on cold nights, warm bodies against endless winter. They never betrayed. Humans did. Always. He stood tall in the slaughter clearing. Birds silent, forest holding breath. Primal rage cooled into something sharper. A plan. Cold as blizzard night he was born in. Precise as claws through throat. Valtor would not die quick. They would kneel first. Beg. Watch everything burn. Then death. Kain turned toward the rising sun. Human lands waited beyond trees. He took first step. Behind him, bodies cooled. Ahead, a noble house trembled. The hunter had reversed heaven's will. and heaven itself would bleed. The Valtor estate glowed like a jewel under the full moon. Crystal chandeliers blazed inside the grand hall. Marble floors reflected 1,000 candles. Nobles in silk and gold filled every corner. Laughter rang off vaulted ceilings. Servants carried silver trays of sparkling wine. Banners bearing the black leopard crest hung proud from every wall. Tonight was the succession ceremony. The night Elias Valtor, youngest son, perfect Monocore, sacred flame bloodline, would be named heir. Kain walked among them unseen. A simple servant's uniform, hair tied back, face altered just enough by essence mimicry to pass casual glances. He carried a tray of empty glasses. No one looked twice at staff. He moved through the crowd like smoke, eyes scanning, heart cold. There, on the raised dais, Lord Valtor stood tall, robes heavy with jewels. Beside him, Lady Alara, his birth mother, face painted perfect, smile practiced. Younger brother Elias preened in ceremonial armor. Flames dancing harmlessly around his shoulders. Guests applauded every word. The herald's voice boomed. By ancient right and sacred blood, I present Elias Valtor, heir to House Valtor, future pillar of the Empire. Cheers erupted. Mana flares lit the hall in celebration. Fireworks of pure elemental power burst overhead. Kain set his tray down. Fingers flexed under sleeves, claws itching. From the shadows he watched his parents raise glasses to Elias. Lord Valtor laughed deep. The forest took care of that old embarrassment years ago. No need to ever speak of it again. Guests chuckled politely. Like it was nothing. Like abandoning a newborn in a blizzard was a funny anecdote. Lady Alara's smile never wavered. Eyes empty. Kain's vision tinted red. Asterisk, old joke, huh? Asterisk. The trap sprang without warning. Runes flared across the floor. Massive barrier snapped into place, sealing every exit. Elite knights in full battle array stepped from hidden alcoves. Mana lances leveled. Assassins dropped from ceilings. Chains of binding light shot toward the servant in the corner. They had expected him. Lord Valtor's voice cut clear. End the monster here. No traces. Kain didn't move until the first chain wrapped his wrist. Then he smiled. The chain shattered like glass. He erupted. Body exploded forward. Shadowstalk carried him through the first rank of knights before they blinked. Claws punched through enchanted plate. Hearts stopped mid-beat. Blood sprayed across silk gowns. Screams replaced laughter. Guards charged. Elite flame knights of the House Guard. Sacred bloodline armor that turned aside grand spells. Kain met them head-on. Sword met claw. Metal screamed. Armor parted. He grabbed one knight by the helm. Crushed it inward. Brain matter leaked between fingers. System sang sweet. Essence absorption initiated. Flame Knight class fragment acquired. Strength plus 47. Fire resistance maxed. He wore their power now. Flames licked harmlessly across his skin. More came. Dozens, then hundreds. The entire estate guard mobilized. Kain laughed in the chaos. Hall turned battlefield. Chandeliers crashed. Marble cracked under impacts. Bodies piled high. He moved like the apex he was. Untouchable, unstoppable. A captain roared, Formation Delta, bind the beast! Chains of pure mana thicker than ship ropes lashed out. Kain let them wrap him, stood still. Knights pulled tight, smiled grim. Then he flexed. Chains exploded into shards, backlash shredded the casters. He walked through the carnage calm, blood dripping from claws, eyes burning brighter with every kill. Nobles fled screaming. Some tried spells, fireballs, ice storms, lightning from inherited artifacts. All devoured midair. Essence mimicry turned their attacks back, amplified tenfold. The dais was last. Lord Valtor stood shield up, mana barrier glowing gold. Elias behind him, flames raging, uncontrolled in panic. Lady Alara frozen in place. Kain stepped over corpses. Reached the barrier. Placed one hand against it. Lord Valtor snarled, You should have died in the snow abomination. Kain pushed. Barrier shattered like sugar glass. Lord Valtor attacked first. Sacred flame sword passed down generations. Blade that burned souls. Kain caught it bare-handed. Metal melted around his grip. He yanked. Sword came free. Lord stumbled forward. Claws flashed. Lord Valtor's arm hit the ground. Then his legs. He screamed high and broken. Elias charged next. Flame wings. Spear of pure fire. Kain sidestepped. Grabbed wing. Tore it off root. Elias hit marble hard. Please, younger brother sobbed. I didn't know. I was born after. Kain knelt, lifted Elias by throat. You lived warm while I froze, voice quiet, deadly. You wore silk while beasts raised me. Claws sank slow. Elias gurgled once. Went still. Kain dropped the body. turned to Lord Valtor, crawling through his own blood. "Father." The word dripped venom. Lord Valtor looked up, recognition finally raw in his eyes. "You." Kain grabbed hair. Forced eye contact. "I am the embarrassment you joked about." Claws punched through chest, ribs cracked, heart pulled out, still beating. Lord Valtor stared at it, died staring. Kain crushed the heart in his fist. Only one left. Lady Alara backed against the throne, face stripped of paint and pretense, tears cutting clean tracks. Kain approached slow. She fell to knees. "I begged him not to. I begged." Voice broken. He stood over her, claws dripping family blood. "You watched him leave me in the snow." She sobbed, hands reaching. "I was weak. I was scared." Kain looked around. Hall burned now, bodies everywhere, estate collapsing under unleashed power, guards dead to last man. He grabbed her chin, forced her to look. "Watch." Then he turned. Remaining nobles cowering in corners, allied houses who came to celebrate. He slaughtered them all. No hurry, methodical, every scream a note in the symphony. Flames spread, roof caved, the entire estate became a pyre. When silence finally fell, only smoke and blood remained. Kain stood atop the highest ruined tower. Wind whipped his hair, claws retracted slow. Lady Alara still alive below, chained by shadow tendrils, forced to witness everything. He looked down at her one last time. "You live," voice carried over crackling fire. "Live and remember what your weakness created." He leapt, landed outside burning gates, walked into the night calm. Behind him, the Valtor estate collapsed into hellfire, a beacon visible across the continent. News would spread by dawn. House Valtor erased, heir dead, lord dead, monster responsible. Kain kept walking, system voice warm in his chest. Apex predator status continent-wide acknowledged. All lesser systems suppressed in presence. He smiled small. The cub abandoned in snow had returned. Tore down the house that rejected him. Became the unchallenged king of beasts. Continent trembled now. And somewhere deep in forests, his leopard mother lifted her head. Scented smoke on wind. Knew her son had come home. In blood and fire. The family reunion was over. The age of the apex had just begun. The continent woke to ashes and silence. The Valtor estate reduced to blackened stone and cooled lava, where marble halls once gleamed under crystal lights. The only witness Lady Alara wandering roads naked and mad, whispering about crimson eyes that swallowed entire souls, while stolen broadcast crystals looped the final image across every kingdom, a lone figure striding untouched from roaring. Inferno claws dripping thick noble blood, they called him the Wild Beast, now not his nickname but his title, spoken only in fear behind locked doors. Kings tripled palace wards and sealed gates with grand spells. Ancient sects closed mountain passes forever. S-rank awakeners sharpened legendary weapons in hidden forges and bragged in private channels about the bounty high enough to purchase entire empires or ascend to godhood, all for the head of the coreless monster who erased a great house in single night of terror. Kain did not hide or run. He waited openly in the ruined Valtor courtyard, seated upon the half-melted throne like it had always belonged to him, while wind carried fine ash across broken banners bearing the twisted leopard crest, and he cleaned dried blood from his elongated black claws, slow and patient, as if time itself served him now. First, challengers arrived exactly 3 days later. At dawn, 5 elders from the Hidden Void sect, descending from sky on silent void steps, robes gray as ancient tombstone, mana cores refined over centuries, glowing faint purple through. Translucent skin, the oldest gripping, a staff carved from sacred world tree root faces, etched with arrogance earned across lifetimes. The leader spoke first, voice dry as graveyard dust carrying across silent ruins. "Young beast, your forbidden predator system intrigues our eternal sect. Kneel now, offer it willingly, and we shall grant rebirth within our supreme lineage. Sparing you meaningless suffering." Kain rose slowly, bones cracking loud in morning stillness as he stretched powerful frame, eyes burning flat, crimson without spark of mercy or fear. Old men chasing stolen immortality through theft of bosses. Younger power, come take it. If centuries taught you anything useful, they attacked instantly, as one perfect synchrony, honed over ages. Formation arts activated, sealing local space, time itself slowing to crawl around targeted zone. Massive void chains, thicker than castle support pillars, erupting from cracked ground swords of pure murderous intent, slashing from every direction simultaneously cuts, designed to sever soul threads long before flesh felt pain. Kain moved anyway faster than slowed time allowed. Void step skill evolved from devoured shadow arts, carrying him outside formation perimeter, in single blink claws punching straight through nearest elders' multi-layer wards like wet parchment fingers closing around still beating heart, ripping it free in spray of hot ancient blood. System voice purred warm and intimate inside his skull. Essence. Absorption complete. Void intent skill fragment acquired lifespan. Theft protocol engaged immediately. The elder aged visible centuries within seconds, skin withering. Tight over bones, hair shifting white then falling like snow, body crumbling to dust, scattering on wind before companions could react. Remaining 4 roared coordinated fury grand technique, unleashed together miniature void star forming high above, descending, slow but unstoppable, meant to swallow Kain whole, compress him into eternal nothingness. He looked up calm, smiled, small sharp fangs glinting, essence mimicry flaring bright, their own void star reversed mid-descent, crushing casters instead in their own inescapable prison screams, cut abruptly short as bodies imploded into black ash drifting across ruined courtyard. Kain licked one claw clean, tasting centuries of stolen life. Word of the massacre spread faster than light across continent, carried by terrified scrying spells and emergency broadcast crystals. Next wave came within week 7, living legends of the Empire, S-rank awakeners, each name carved into history books, taught to children as either ultimate protectors or ultimate destroyers. Dragon Knight Valeria arrived, first bonded ancient red Wyrm circling high overhead, casting massive shadow scales, fused permanently to her skin, lance longer than siege spear, gleaming holy runes. Storm Sovereign Rex landed beside her, controlling weather across entire provinces, with casual thought clouds already boiling at his command. Holy Paladin Cassiel completed front line, blessed personally by 3 greater gods, armor radiating pure white light that burned lesser demons to vapor just by proximity. 4 others flanked Archmage, Summoner, Necromancer, Sword, Saint, Assassin, Queen, all top of their forbidden classes, weapons drawn, auras clashing violently enough to crack surrounding stone for miles. Valeria spoke first, lance pointed, steady voice ringing with righteous authority. Monster, your brief reign of terror ends today. Surrender the Predator system voluntarily, and we grant clean, honorable death instead of prolonged torment. Kain tilted head, slow studying them like interesting prey. Big talk, from Empire's pampered pets, wearing chains of gold, come prove your legends worth more than stories. Battle exploded without further warning, dragonfire painted. Entire sky, crimson red. Wyrm diving, breathing inferno. Hot enough to melt mountain stone. Storm winds howled, sharp enough to flay skin from bone. In seconds, holy light spears rained down in hundreds, carrying divine judgment that erased evil. On contact, Kain walked forward, calm, through overlapping hells, flames licking across reinforced primal hide, harmless instant regeneration, turning deep wounds to rising steam. Storm winds parted around, evolved void step, carrying him untouched holy light. Devoured mid-flight by advanced essence mimicry, reflected back darker, corrupted burning through Cassiel's outer barriers. Valeria charged atop Dragonback lance thrust containing power to pierce continental plates. Kain caught burning tip barehanded metal, screaming as runes overloaded. He yanked hard, pulling Rider and Wyrm crashing into earth hard enough to form. New crater claws finding dragon throat. First ancient scales parting like cloth. Hot arterial blood, spraying geyser across ruins. Valeria screamed pure rage, dragonbone sword, slashing wild, desperate arcs. Kain allowed several cuts deep enough to expose bone, then closed inside, guard hand, punching straight through legendary breastplate fingers, closing around. Still beating heart, stealing it mid-scream. Rex summoned full hurricane next lightning thick, as ancient trees cracking down endlessly. Kain inhaled deep storm essence, absorbed instantly, blue-white lightning now crackling along his own elongated claws. He threw it back, amplified. Hundredfold Rex fried alive inside his own creation body, charred black, falling smoking. Cassiel lasted longest, stacking holy barriers layer upon layer, endless healing light flowing from gods themselves. Kain broke them methodically, claw by claw, enjoying slow growth of real terror in previously unshakable holy eyes. When final barrier shattered, he grabbed armored throat, lifted effortlessly. Your gods abandoned me first in Blizzard Night, now they abandon you, watch. Neck snapped, clean body dropped limp. Remaining 4 died faster. No longer coordinated fear, breaking legendary composure. Archmage's grand summon devoured. Mid-materialization, Necromancer's undead legion turned against Master Sword Saint's ultimate blade. Intent reflected back through him. Assassin Queen's shadow clone, army consumed to fuel Kain's own darkness. 7 legends dead in under 1 hour, total corpses cooling across widened crater where Valtor courtyard once existed. Continent changed permanently. That bloody dawn rivers ran thick red for weeks from spilled. S-rank essence skies stayed bruised. Unnatural purple from lingering aura. Clashes ground itself, scarred with voids and glassed sections for generations. More challengers came anyway, drawn by pride, greed, fear, or simple madness. Lone swordsmen seeking to carve new legend. Entire assassin guilds paid in advance with kingdoms. Ancient beasts awakened from millennial slumber, mistaking territorial challenge. Kain hunted them all systematically, one by one or in waves, never losing, never tiring, each kill pushing boundaries further beyond previous limits. One week-long battle turned entire northern forest to perfectly smooth glass dragonfire, meeting primal regeneration, nothing organic left alive for 100 miles. Another fight flooded Central Valley with endless blood, rain lasting full-month storm essence twisted into permanent crimson precipitation. System evolved repeatedly beyond original design parameters. Host has devoured multiple apex mortal essences simultaneously. Primal entity transformation sequence complete all known biological magical systemic caps permanently removed. True invincibility protocol achieved eternal growth enabled. Physical changes accelerated. He stood noticeably taller, broader shoulders, presence alone crushing weaker mana cores to involuntary submission miles away. Claws edged pure black void, capable of cutting reality itself, skin shifting constantly. Like living, moving shadow eyes, no longer merely red, but deep crimson voids, reflecting each viewer's personal deepest terror. No weapon crafted by mortal hands could scratch surface. No spell woven by any living archmage could bind or slow. No poison brewed in forbidden labs could affect regeneration speed. Elysium Magic Academy fell without single clash of arms. Massive gates opened wide from inside. Students, faculty, staff lined both sides of main path on knees, heads bowed, deep uniforms deliberately torn at shoulders, an ancient sign of total submission. President Seraphine waited alone at foot of central tower steps, silver hair loose down back for first-time ice crown, already melted in nervous grip, hands trembling despite iron control. She knelt first, deepest voice, steady only by supreme effort. Lord of Darkness Elysium submits eternally without condition or reservation. Take whatever you desire. Kain walked past without pause or acknowledgement. Climbed tower alone. Took presidential throne carved from star metal sat. Heavy claiming it silently. Former enemies dragged forward days later in heavy void chains. Cassian legs never properly healed. Dragging useless eyes, fixed floor. Ignis Valtor last distant surviving branch, face pale, drained of noble arrogance. Others who once mocked coreless trash in hallways now reduced to pleading wrecks. They begged loudly, desperately, promises of absolute loyalty, offers of hidden family treasures, confessions of past sins, anything for mercy or quick death. Kain listened completely silent, minutes stretching long, then raised one hand. Slowly living shadows rose from floor wrapping, victims gradual, inescapable essence drained, visible through skin, eyes, mouths, noses, bodies withering in real time. Screams echoing endlessly through academy halls for many days, becoming new background sound. Academy transformed overnight into Dark Fortress students, retrained as disciplined army researchers, redirected entirely toward understanding, dissecting, improving Predator system, all knowledge offered freely to serve the Apex, no questions. No hesitation. Continent bowed completely within months. Remaining kings sent massive tribute, caravans regularly, sects closed mountain gates forever, declaring permanent seclusion. Commoners whispered prayers to new dark god at night, hoping silence protected them. No credible challenge remained among any living human or near-human species. Absolute power finally achieved unchallenged. Yet, in rare private moments of perfect silence, he stood alone, highest rebuilt tower at true midnight wind, blowing cold through open, arched windows, stars, distant, indifferent cold. Memories surfaced, gentle but relentless leopard mother, licking deep wounds clean after his first major solo hunt. Proud golden eyes, shining approval pack, circling tight, protective during worst blizzard nights, warm fur bodies pressed close. Against endless killing, freeze, simple, clean kills, full bellies synchronized howls, rising together under full silver moon, true family that never once considered abandonment or betrayal. He stared down at transformed claws, longer, blacker, capable of ending entire civilizations in minutes, power absolute beyond dreams, enemies erased continents silent in terror and submission, yet the hunger inside, deeper now truly eternal roar. No amount of victory ever quieted, or even slightly reduced. They all kneel now, he thought. Bitter taste like cold ash in mouth, but none of them are real pack. None understand the forest silence, the language of fangs and blood, the warmth of bodies that chose you without condition. He turned away from distant stars, walked slowly down empty, echoing halls, servants scattering instantly at approach, slaves averting eyes, pressing bodies flat against walls, in mortal fear, days blurred into weeks, months, indistinguishable, under new eternal order. Then finally, one clear dawn, he climbed alone, the absolute highest cliff on known continent edge where all maps ended abruptly, clouds boiling thick far below horizon, stretching endless across unseen oceans and forbidden zones beyond. Civilized reach. Wind screamed, fierce, constant, almost alive, trying futile, push back the intruder. He stood motionless, long minutes, hours, perhaps crimson void, eyes narrowed, slow, focusing far beyond normal sight. Something shifted out there, immense, undeniable, deeper than any hidden sect, older than every human empire combined. Vast presences stirring slowly in long-forgotten forbidden zones beneath black unmapped oceans inside permanent void. Rifts floating between stars beyond massive sky barrier, where even greater gods feared to tread for eons. They felt his impossible rise, felt heaven's ancient order cracked beyond repair, felt single defiance that reversed written fate itself. They woke one by one, some curious, some hungry, some purely angry, all utterly immense beyond current comprehension. Kain felt them back clear as physical pressure, mountains weighing directly on unbreakable soul, yet smile cut, sharp, sudden across hardened face. First genuinely real smile since distant forest days, perfect white fangs glinting bright in rising dawn light. Finally something actually worth hunting, real prey, carrying true risk, perhaps even potential defeat. He took single deliberate step forward, straight off, sheer cliff-edge body, falling silent, graceful into thick boiling clouds below, vanishing completely without trace or sound. No hesitation, no fear, no backward glance, only sharpened eternal hunger transformed at last into pure crystalline purpose. Far behind him, entire continent held collective breath in unison. Kings locked inside deepest vaults, praying silently. He never returned. Slaves whispered new, darker legends in corners. Academy flew permanent black flags at half-mast. Eternal honor and warning. The wild beast walked alone, deeper into greater unknown, dark supreme apex, predator forever unchained, forever hungry, forever forward. And somewhere in vast ancient void beyond mortal sight, something truly immense, opened eyes, slow, felt approaching challenge coming, smiled in its own incomprehensible way. The coronation was complete in oceans of blood, and endless silent void, the true eternal hunt began now at last. Word count, exactly 3,000 words.